the lamb. Avocado. They're coming in. Hello everybody, I'm Operative 9, your operative, and for the first time tonight, we're going to be doing a street. We're going to be doing DaBall's mac and cheese 4 ways. I'm going to teach you everything you want to know about macaroni and cheese. Let's see if we can get the cat over here so we can see what's up. We're still learning, still figuring stuff out here. The animals are acting up tonight, making noises and things, so you'll hear them in the background. So how is the volume? How does everything sound? Anybody, I'm doing one central mic in the middle of the room, so see how that works out. See, Roy Jenkins. Okay, he says it's pretty quiet. I will trust him. Let me see if I can get the volume up. Alright, so I turned that up a little bit. It's probably going to make a better sound once I actually get over there into the kitchen. Right now I'm like sitting outside of the kitchen, so probably make a little bit louder once I get over there. DaBall is in the house. I got to figure out how to make you guys mods, especially DaBall. This episode is dedicated to him tonight. He's the best Twitch moderator in all of Twitch. C-Roy Jenkins in the house. Bear Grylls in the house. I don't know if you know about Bear Grylls. That guy is hilarious. His stream's going to be coming out later. It's going to be amazing. He's going to be grilling out. He's going to be drinking his Keystone Light. You're going to love it. So let's get going, huh? So unfortunately, I don't have enough USB extenders tonight. So I don't have a face cam that's going to be on me at all times, but we'll let the food talk for itself. And right, so the very first kind of macaroni and cheese that I want to do is the macaroni and cheese that you get in the good old box. It's about 42 cents for a pack of macaroni and cheese that you can get out of the box. And quite honestly, it's not very good. This one I got from Winco, which is it was actually 42 cents.
Turn it around.
So, oh yeah, we're upside down. It was actually 42 cents. And, what? 42 cents. Okay, turning around, she says. Okay, so, inside of here, you'll find the contents pretty normal. One cheese packet. We gotta turn off that sound. And we have, of course, these enriched wheat flour noodles, which are probably not very good for you, but they are delicious. This cheese packet right here is actually the gateway to the sauce that we want to make. Most people, the instructions tell you, okay, take this, boil the noodles, add milk and butter, and right into the noodles, right? But actually, we're not gonna do it this way. We're gonna make the sauce separately, and we can add in different kinds of cheeses and things like that to make this better. So you can get way more than your 42 cents worth. And it all starts with boiling water, of course. So I'm gonna boil a little bit of water. water. All right. Now, I'm actually going to do, don't worry, Ava, I'm actually going to do mac and cheese 4 ways tonight. I'm going to show you the cheapest, easiest way. I'm going to show you the traditional way. I'm going to show you a gourmet way. And just for Meej, I'm going to show you a gluten-free alternative. So we're going to get this guy going. And we'll let the water boil on that. Let's see what's going on here. Ava, very active in the chat. You can eat all 4. All you got to do is come all the way over here to the great Pacific Northwest, and I will feed you all the mac and cheese you want. So this is, we really went all the way up to the wire on this one. We were testing things out. They weren't working. We went right to the wire on this one. And I am so happy that everything is working right now. And Indy, Dr. Indiana Jones. So can you believe that right now? Right now, in this chat, we have warriors. We have adventurers. We got playmakers. We got brand new Twitch people coming from all different areas. And they have been nice enough to grace the Operative9 live channel. So happy to see all you guys. So great that you guys are here. And right now, I've got you watching water boil. So, so macaroni and cheese. There's a couple of different stories. One of them, there's this myth about where macaroni and cheese comes from. Now we can date macaroni and cheese, or just macaroni, all the way back to the 14th century. In the 14th century, macaroni and cheese was originally just a casserole. So it was a noodle casserole with a bechamel sauce. Bear Grylls. Yeah, so it was a casserole dish with a bechamel sauce and cheese added. But there's a myth about macaroni and cheese that it was actually created by Thomas Jefferson, who could not get the proper pieces for his pasta maker from Italy. So all he could make was macaroni. Of course I have pants on. C-Roy, come on. You can't cook without pants. Well, I guess you can, but you don't want to cook bacon without pants. That's a pro tip. Don't cook bacon without pants. If a raid is offensive, moderate in chat settings. Do we got a raid coming? What's going on? Is this a raid?
What's a raid?
Oh my goodness. Young warrior, fine art in the building. This guy right here is a legend. This guy is the legend of legends. This guy invented the word legend.
He's a legend!
Legend! Young warrior, fine art. Thank you so much for the host on my very first stream. I'm hype. Thekus is hype. We are ready to show you guys how to cook macaroni and cheese. We're ready to teach you about history. I got all kinds of things going on tonight. Look at all those lab coats in the chat. Thank you so much for the love. Man, that's amazing. Right now, everybody's watching water boil, which is taking forever. So, so if you were excited about coming in here, now you're watching water boil. So, yeah. Anyway, I was talking about the history of macaroni and cheese and how the great myth is that for the people who are just coming in, that Thomas Jefferson himself actually invented the idea for macaroni and cheese. Now, considering that macaroni and cheese has been around, like just macaroni the noodle has been around since the 14th century, I don't think Thomas Jefferson did it. So I'm going to get all these noodles wrangled up since I threw them on my cutting board. It's probably going to make a ton of noise because that mic is pretty cool. Bear with me. Warriors, adventurers, playmakers, people from all over the place, man. noodles rounded up. All right, let's see. How's that cam looking? That's a good cam. So, it's our very first night working with OBS, like the very first. Hopan the Beast just came into the chat. Hopan the Beast. I don't know if you know about these guys, but Hopan the Beast and the Playmakers, this guy is probably the most fearsome PUBG player there is on Twitch, there is in the world. This guy, amazing. Now, another thing that a lot of people don't know about Hopan is that Hopan the Beast actually he invited me to come onto his Twitch community. And it's pretty much how I found Twitch. So I got to thank Hopan the Beast for this very first episode of the stream. Now that water is just about ready to boil. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you how to take these garbage sauce packets. They are right here. They come in the 42-cent thing of whatevers. I'm going to show you how to take those and turn them into gold. Now, first thing I need to get is a saucepan. Just a little guy right here. Mind my ugly pans. They are, you know, cooks don't make a lot of money if you didn't know. Man, look at that. Would you look at that? All these amazing people in the chat right now. So, basically, at the heart of what this stuff is, right? This powder. This gross powder. At the heart of it is modified food starch. So that's basically cornstarch. And cornstarch is used for thickening all kinds of agents. And in this case, it's cheese-flavored cornstarch. It's not awful for what we're going to be doing. But if you just throw it in there, it's just not very good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what's called a slurry. Now a slurry is usually either cornstarch or flour that is added to a cold liquid. And you have to add it cold because cornstarch, of course, when it gets hot, it expands. And it turns into this stodgy mess that you don't want anything. The cheese is coming off it. It's definitely coming. But first we've got to start out with this stuff. I'm going to reach in here and I'm going to grab some half and half from my fridge here. And I am going to open that up. Gosh, it's fresh. We just went down to the store tonight and got all this stuff. So, I'm using half and half. You can use 2%, you can use whole milk, you can use heavy cream, even though heavy cream has more of a tendency to break, which means that the fats separate from the milk solids and it becomes a mess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add into here, I'm going to say half a cup of my half and half into this grotesque amalgamation of science and cheese. And then I'm actually going to add some other cheeses to it. I have, now everybody don't sigh, but I have some straight up good old fashioned American cheese slices. American cheese slices are good for a lot of things, and the reason why we actually use it in mac and cheese, and even in professional kitchens, the reason why we use it is because it's very stable. It can take intense heats. How much half and half, young warrior? I added about a half of a cup into there, and I'm going to take my whisk and actually whisk that up. So I'm going to whisk this up a little bit and kind of break up the big chunks. I don't want them to be too chunky.
Bear's got a question for you. Why use half and half as opposed to cream or milk?
Alright, so the reason why I use half and half as opposed to cream and milk is because it's kind of like a gateway. It's right in the middle. It's delicious and creamy like a heavy cream would be or a whipping cream would be, but it's also light enough like a milk. Now the reason I would use it is because heavy cream, once again, as I was saying, would break. So I don't want it to break, but I do want to get all the delicious creamy flavor of the cream. So that's why I use the half and half. So I'm going to come over here to the cutting board, and I've got my processed cheese. I'm going to come over to the cutting board. I got my processed cheese here, right? It doesn't look very good. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice it up into little strips. Then, that's called a julienne, by the way. So these fine strips. This is actually be a fine julienne. And then I'm going to come across and actually cut it again into what's called a brunoise. So that's fancy French terms for cutting shitty cheese. But in the end, the flavor is worth it. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn on the heat on this one so I can get it going. And of course, you got to add a knob of butter. Now, the package tells you that you got to add like some ridiculous amount. Like I think it's like half of a stick of butter or something. I'm going to go with about a tablespoon. So I'm going to let all of that kind of dissolve into there. And I've got to make sure to keep stirring it because as the cornstarch expands, those lumps are going to get harder and harder to get out. Right. So I'm kind of using the butter to kind of move it around in there. I don't want it sloshing out. And that butter's going to melt in there. And once the butter melts, I'm going to go ahead and add the American cheese. Now I've got all different kinds of cheeses here tonight. I know Ava is like, what is going on with all of the bad cheese? But tonight I do have a delicious smoked Gouda that is wax aged, and it's a delicious cheese. Natural smoke, really nice. I have a fine Swiss, which Swiss is one of the better melting cheeses that you can get. It's it melts really smooth and it stays very soft, and it's also very like the proteins in it, they don't break as easily as other cheeses. And the other thing I have tonight is a nice big wedge of smoked provolone. And those are all going to go into our different macs tonight. Now we can see in the back our water's boiling. I got to make sure to keep stirring this because as you saw, there was a little bit of a pool of the butter starting to form up in the bottom. I absolutely don't want that because the oils will naturally attract other oils. And those oils will cause this sauce to break. And even though this stuff is basically bulletproof, if I leave it unattended with a high heat, it will break and it'll become really gross. So I want to make sure that I'm making sure that that butter is getting incorporated in there completely. All right, now you can see most of the chunks are gone out of it, and it's getting to a point now where the heat is going to actually start making this thicker. I'm going to go ahead and add in my pasta. And since it's all going to the same place, I'll go ahead and use the whisk to kind of get it broke up in here. I'm not really concerned about it. So yeah, I keep going on this, and you'll notice on the sides here that it's actually begun to start to thicken. And when it's begun to start to thicken, that's when I'm going to start adding all of this cheese that I've cut up over here. So I throw in my cheese. I would say that's probably about a half a cup as well. And throwing that in there. Oh yeah, now you can see it's starting to turn into that cheese sauce that we're all looking for. Really nice, glistening, nice color. That day glow, fake color that they had added to the sauce. But flavor-wise, it's delicious. Now, most of the time they tell you to just add this cheese right into the pasta. But they don't tell you to actually season it at all. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a tiny bit of onion salt, which I got. This is just McCormick brand. I got it from, the store. It's like $4 or something. And add just the tiniest bit of onion salt to it. I would say, let's go half a teaspoon. Let's say a quarter of a teaspoon on that. And then some fresh cracked black pepper. Just enough to get it, to make it interesting. And we'll kind of put that back on the heat, and we're going to let it continue to solidify and really come together. Now you can add American Swiss. The funny thing about American Swiss is it's made of the same stuff, and it basically tastes exactly the same. Oh, we got Immortal Ninja just came in. So happy to see you, brother. Thank you for coming in. Yeah. Siebenstein Zero, thank you for coming in. Not quite sure who you are, but I thank you for coming in. You probably came in with the young warrior. Yeah. Tech is here. Tech is an amazing CSGO player. He is a tactician. He's an amazing dude. And really nice, really humble as well. I love playing PUBG with that guy. And let me tell you, I am not very good at PUBG. So, all right, that's ready. That's bubbling and goopy and ready to go. I can add more cheese at this point if I want, but I think I'm just going to leave it how it is. What was I talking about? Oh, so American Swiss, made of the same stuff, taste almost exactly the same. Like, I don't even know where they get off calling it a different cheese. And the thing about it is, most cheeses, if you didn't know, there is no naturally occurring yellow cheese. All cheddar cheese, things like that, they all have that color added to them. So it's an additive that makes cheddar cheese orange or yellow or whatever color you see it as, basically. And thanks, Tech. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming in. I'm so happy for all the support, man. You guys are the greatest. And when I first started out, this cooking stream thing, it only came up in the last, I would say, like a couple weeks of my planning. I was planning on maybe doing a cooking stream here, doing a cooking stream there, but really I was going to focus on games. And then pretty much everybody told me that what they really wanted to see was the cooking. So I decided to just stick with cooking. And, I might do a little stream here or there, just playing around with other people in games or whatever. But cashew milk, Mead Sprite. Cashew milk is one of my favorite things, man. As milks go, it's super creamy and it's slightly sweet naturally. It's the best nut milk by far, for me anyway. So I'm just waiting on these noodles to come out a little bit more. I'm looking for them to be a little al dente. Don't do this at home unless you got chef hands. Don't do this at home; it'll burn you. Gotta show off a little, right? The noodle itself. Pretty good and al dente. Since I don't have an actual camera over my strainer, you're just gonna have to take my word for it. I'm gonna be using this strainer right here. Pretty basic strainer. I want to strain it out really well. I don't want to get too much water in there because it'll actually make my sauce more soupy. And a lot of people, when they make mac and cheese like this, they add way too much milk and it becomes that weird mac and cheese soup. Which, I actually, when I was a kid, I actually really liked that mac and cheese soup. Mac and cheese was one of the first things I learned to cook when I was like, I don't know, 6. All right, now we're back over here. Now there's going to be residual heat coming off of this thing, obviously, and that's going to help the cheese to get incorporated into the pasta. And then get it all out. Make sure we get all that cheesy goodness. It smells really nice, actually. The smell of macaroni and cheese is like, especially this box stuff. It reminds me of being a kid. It's just, I can smell this and it takes me back. But as you can see, our macaroni and cheese doesn't look like normal. It's way more glossy, way more well coated. Yeah, it is like Velveeta in a way. But it's just a way superior way than the way they show you on the box, and you get a way better taste and a way better texture. And you can do this with Velveeta. It doesn't have to be like those American slices. I'm kind of on a budget here, so that's what I ended up grabbing. But flavor-wise, texture-wise, definitely superior to your regular 42-cent back of the box I'm gonna go ahead and wash out this pan real quick. Gotta clean up after yourself. Unless you got a thickest, then she'll do it for you, but she will be upset about it. Alright, that is the #1 easiest mac and cheese on the planet. Just hit my head on the microphone. You'll probably hear that. I'm going to feed it the thickest and see what she says. Because unfortunately, I am still on my ketogenic diet, and I can't eat any of this mac and cheese we're going to make tonight. So, thickest is going to be eating all of the mac and cheese. Well, actually, C-Roy and Hopan and Bear Grylls, they can just come right over because they live all in the neighborhood.
Which, really, you guys, you might think that having all this mac and cheese is fantastic, but I secretly think he's trying to fatten me up.
Well, you know, it's harder to get him to run away then. All right. So that was the first one. Let's sit down. Let's try it. All right. So this is our makeshift background that we got here. This little vegetable thing. Yeah. So Thickest is going to eat the macaroni and cheese and tell me what you think.
Okay, guys, this is definitely an improvement over the regular box mac and cheese because the sauce is definitely a lot creamier, more palatable. Making it fancy. It's delicious, you guys.
All right. So we won her over with the 42-cent box of macaroni and cheese from Winco Foods. Now, I know what you're saying. Where can we possibly go from here? Where can my operative take me from here? Next, we're going to go to the classic macaroni and cheese, the casserole. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take chicken and a biscuit. I don't know if you know about that cracker, but I'm going to take chicken and a biscuit. I'm going to crunch it up with a little bit of butter and some herbs, and I'm going to make a topping for it, and it's going to be great. We're going to use more premier cheese and different techniques, including one of the 5 mother sauces, bechamel. Bechamel is a cream sauce that is made primarily of roux, which is a mixture of butter or oil and flour. And that's used to thicken a cream, or in our case, we're going to continue to use half and half. So I'm going to head over there, and off we go. I'm going to go ahead and take this board here and sanitize it. Get the old other cheese off of there. Pop it right there. Alright, so the first thing that we need to do actually before any of the cheese, well, actually let's do some mise en place. Now there are plenty of people in the chat here. I don't know if you guys know this, but man, we have so many cooks, legit chefs in this channel right now. So they most likely know what mise en place is. Mise en place means in French, everything in its place. And what everything in its place means for us is that we have to get everything prepped out so that it's easier for us to cook. Mise en place can be used in all different things in your life, man. It's, you know, I know people with tattoos of it, that saying, mise en place. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and make some room for my other stuff. Put that mac and cheese away. Mise en place. Get your shit together, says Bear Grylls. Absolutely, Bear. It's good to see you. Can't wait to go out on that there hunting trip. You can save a couple keystones for me. So I'm going to find my box grater somewhere in the world. There it is. Ta-da! A box grater. This is a fine box grater. Nice aperture. Each one of these little sharp devils is a different aperture and a different kind of cut. This one here is a slice for like bigger slices of cheese. So if you have problems slicing cheese, like, you know, some people have a problem where it's like real fat on one end and real skinny on the other end. You can use these box graters. You know, what this one's like, about $10. You can use these box graters to get perfect slices off of your cheese. This one right here is actually used for, it's like a grater. It's not actually like for like long slices of cheese. This is actually for like ginger root or something like that. And you can literally take a ginger root and mash it like this along there, and it'll turn it into a paste. So that's actually pretty helpful. And here we got the tiny little grater marks there. And yeah, so that's your basic box. My first cheese that I'm going to start with is a smoked provolone. And I'm going to go ahead and grate all of that down, so we're going to have it ready to go when we need it. Mise en place is going to help us a lot here, because the bechamel and the roux, those things are very time sensitive. If I leave a roux on for too long and it becomes a different color, then it's basically not what I'm looking for, and I'm going to have to start all over again. So I got to maintain my mise en place in order to keep that time sensitivity in track. All right. I'll go ahead and leave this little nub here. So yeah, there you go. A big bunch of smoked provolone cheese. Next, I'm going to take my smoked Gouda. Producer Thakis says that cutting board needs to go 1 inch further. She's keeping a good eye on it. She's doing real well over there. For her first time on OBS, she's doing pretty good. Let's see what we got going on. All right, so this is that smoked Gouda I was telling you about. It's got kind of a hickory flavor to it, I guess. I don't know that they use really that many different types in smoked Gouda processing, so it's probably hickory. But you can tell that it's actually a natural, real hardwood smoke. It doesn't have any of that fake flavor in it. All right. So as you can see, these cheeses, they're not really colored.
Young Warrior asked, are you cutting up about a cup of each?
Oh, let's see. Young Warrior, I would say that's probably 2 cups right there. And this one is probably about the same. It's probably about 2 cups of each cheese. So we're going to have some really cheesy macaroni and cheese. It's going to be good. It really is Bear Grylls, man. I tell you, I am like freaking out right now. How good this feels. All right.
Holy cheese.
Holy cheese. That is a big old pile of cheese. Approximately 4 cups. So, next we're going to have to make our bechamel. So I want a pretty good sized pan for this. I really need to get new pans. These ones are just beat up Walmart pans. So, first things first, we're going to get some flour. Now, for you gluten-free people, please continue to wait. I'm going to get to you. I'm going to make you a delicious gluten-free mac and cheese. It's going to be just fine for you to have.
Bear Grylls asks, what brand Gouda did you use or recommend?
What brand of Gouda would I recommend? Pretty much anyone that you can get, honestly. They're not, like right now in the market, there isn't really a bunch of smoked Gouda. So as long as you're getting one that you know, do your research. You can go on Google. You can find things about cheese, and you can do that literally while you're in the shopping mall, man. It's the future. So you can check out your cheese, where it comes from, and if it's natural smoked or if it's aged. You can find out all these things right through Google and literally right at the store. So, but basically any smoked Gouda is delicious. Even the Baby Bells work really well. I'm gonna get some more water boiling. Yay! I bet you would never figured that you would come onto Twitch and watch your boy boil water. But you never thought that that was one of the things that you would be watching. But since we got the time to get the water boiling, we can also get our roux started. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with, you can use any kind of flour. I actually don't have any all-purpose flour. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to just use some of my bread flour. And that's just regular unbleached bread flour. Oh, sorry, my cameras are upside down, so I'm still getting used to that. They're literally hanging from underneath my cabinets and things. It's crazy over here. So I'm going to take I'm going to say that's about 1/4 of a cup of, about 1/4 of a cup of the bread flour. That's going to be good for about 1/2 stick of butter, which is approximately what I'm going to use. I got 2 little nubs of butter right here that I'm actually going to throw in. There's 1.
Aw, it poured out in a heart.
And there's 2. All right. Now, the ratios, they're a little fluid for me anyway. I know that there are specific ratios in French cooking that makes a perfect roux. But the thing that I was taught in culinary school is that your roux should look about the consistency of wet sand. And I'll show you exactly what I mean once I get to mixing that up. I'm washing off my whisk here. Probably nice and loud.
Mead says that you're going to be the cause of an unexplained spike in mac and cheese and pasta.
Well, you know, mac and cheese, Meej, is one of those things that gets eaten a lot. So, a spike, I don't know.
Young Warrior asks 1-to-1 usually, right?
So, Young Warrior. I wouldn't say 1-to-1 is probably the best way to go, because you want there to be slightly more flour for sure. You don't want it to be really runny. But the consistency of wet sand is what I'll show you as soon as I can get some melting here. And I'm literally just trying to coat this. Now, if you're one of those people who butter doesn't work for you for whatever reason, you're lactose intolerant. If you're lactose intolerant, by the way, you're watching the wrong show. Mac and cheese, there's no way around getting dairy in this thing. And the reason why is because cashew milks and nut milks like that, they tend to break with heat, from what I've noticed anyway. I've tried it with cashew milk. I've tried it with almond milk. It's just, it just doesn't work out very well. It becomes really, I don't know how you would say it, almost grainy. And that's a common problem that a lot of people have with mac and cheese. But we're going to make sure and show you guys the proper way so that you don't have grainy mac and cheese. The reason why mac and cheese gets grainy is a lot of different reasons. Sometimes the roux isn't properly stirred. Sometimes the cheeses that you choose are wrong. There are some cheeses that are literally not melting cheeses. Otto says that he is lactose intolerant, but mac and cheese is worth it. Let me tell you what. I am pretty sure I'm lactose intolerant too, but I will never give up cheese. I just handle it. I handle the pain. It's mostly just gastric distress for me. There's some people that it actually really causes a big problem with. Now for me, when I looked at this consistency-wise, it's still a little bit too buttery for me. So I'm actually going to add just a little bit more flour to try and get that sand consistency I was talking about. The other thing is we've got to cook this to a point where we can cook off the raw flour flavor, but we don't want to cook it to a point where it gets to a different color, because we don't want that color to affect the roux. Now roux are kind of interesting in a way that the longer you cook them, the different characteristics they take. This is called a blonde roux for obvious reasons. and it has the maximum thickening power of a roux. Now you can see that wet sand consistency. You can see as I kind of pull it up, it wants to like kind of squish back down in there. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. Next, I'm going to go over to my cheese board. And if you're lucky enough to have many cutting boards, you can do this on a separate cutting board. Since I'm not lucky enough to have many cutting boards, I just got the one. I'm going to go ahead and make my onion piqué over here. So, an onion piqué is literally a half or a quarter of an onion that we cut up here, and we're going to put things into it. And those things traditionally are bay leaves and cloves, and they're actually going to kind of season the bechamel. My dog is eating raw macaroni and cheese off the floor as we speak. He's having a great time. Kiba, some of you guys know him. He's a great corgi. Now I want to... Hey, Garth, Dark Horse. Sorry, Dark Horse in the chat. Dark Horse. Man, you know, I haven't got to hang out with you much, and I'm so glad that you're in here to watch me cook today. When I was first starting out cooking, I used to torture this guy with my food. Just, yeah. So anyway, right now we're working on mac and cheese, and this is a roux for a bechamel. And right now I'm just teaching everybody about the onion piqué. And the onion piqué is what's going to flavor our milk. First I need to find my bay leaves, which are lost in here somewhere. Now, it's not necessary for bay leaves, but it is part of the traditional recipe. And I think I'm out of bay leaves, which is funny because I asked Deaconess at the store and we were like, oh yeah, we totally got bay leaves. Apparently we don't. So, as a punt here, as something else I can use, I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of thyme. Not exactly the same flavor, but it should sort of work. And I'm adding like literally a quarter of a teaspoon here. I don't want it to be really overbearing. But I know I have cloves because we just bought those today. So I'm going to put a couple of cloves in here. The cool thing about cloves is they're like little spikes. Right? These little guys. These little spikes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to push the spikes in between the folds of the onion. Now I don't want to do that too much because I don't want the onion to fall apart, but I am going to put those in between the folds of the onion. Now, traditionally, if I had the bay leaves, I would also stick the dried bay leaves into there. And if the bay leaves aren't dried, I would actually use these little spikes to pin down the bay leaf so that we can get the flavor. I'm going to put 5 sounds good to me. Nah, let's do 6. We'll keep it even on both sides. And there you go. Now I got my little onion piqué. I'm going to throw that down. And I'm going to get it back on the heat. And I'm going to start adding my half and half. I want to add it kind of slowly because I don't want there to be any clumps. So there's my first little half there. And I'm going to make sure that my roux isn't very clumpy. I want to really get it as smooth as I possibly can. Now, what's going to happen eventually is that onion piqué is going to kind of start floating in there and flavoring the half and half. All right. Making little circles here. Kind of break that up. What we got going on? If you want to be joined, you can come on over later, buddy. right, now I'm going ahead and add a little bit more. You can see the thyme kind of hanging out in there. Could affect the overall final product, but we can always strain that out if we're feeling like we're not really feeling it. We don't really want it in there. It's not smooth enough for us. We can strain that out later. A7, A7G7, one of the legends. Really one of the legends. He is the moderator and also just wrangler of Hopan the Beast over there. One of the playmakers himself. A7's a good dude too, man. He's really loyal. He really sticks with us. And I am happy to call him my friend. I really am. Lab coats. We got hype in the chat room. Let me tell you, that is one handsome lab coat. You think it's handsome right now, you should see it on Young Warrior. You should go and follow him if you're not following him. He's an amazing artist. He does amazing, realistic, just beautiful paint, beautiful art. He's talented all around. So go follow him if you can, if you haven't already. That is a quarter of an onion that we're using to make a PK, which basically is just an onion with stuff stabbed into it. Yeah, let me tell you, man. Young Warrior has actually given me a lot of confidence to do this. And that's, you know, I usually find myself in his... I find myself with the Warriors every night that he's on. That's exactly how you spell it, a PK. Right, like that, Young Warrior. But yeah, I find myself in his chat room a lot just because of the positivity that he brings. And the Warriors are like the greatest, man. They're really a great bunch of people. I want you to watch how thick that roux made this sauce. We are already in bechamel territory. Bechamel, one of the 5 mother sauces, we're going to bang it out today. You guys are officially going to know some French cooking. Bechamel, the reason why they call them mother sauces, by the way, is that these sauces are the mothers of every other sauce. If you've ever had an Alfredo, it started out as a bechamel. If you've ever had a Mornay, which is a cheese sauce that we're going to be doing, it started out as a bechamel. Anything that is cream-based, chowder, clam chowder, any of those things, they start out as this thing. I'm going to add just a little bit more because I think it's a little thick right now. I don't want it to be super duper thick because I want to be able to get cheese in there. And if the cheese is thick and the bechamel is too thick, they're gonna clash and they're gonna cause really clumpy sauce. So you can see my PK there. It's starting to get kind of cooked, and that's what I want. I want it to give up its flavor. Alright. Now I'm looking for this really creamy consistency. I don't want any lumps. I don't want it to look grainy at all. Because if it's grainy here, when you add the cheese in there, it's going to get more grainy. So make sure that it is just as smooth as you can get it. You really, you know, take your time on it. It doesn't matter. We're watching water boil anyway. You know, take your time, man. So I think I'm actually going to leave the thyme in there. I kind of like the little specks that it's leaving there. I like that. If you're really weird about having those things in there, you can always use a strainer and strain it out at this stage. Make sure you do it at this stage, because if you get the cheese in there, it's going to be way harder to get through through the strainer. But I think we're good right now, and consistency is good. It's got a nice sheen, that gloss on the top there. That's really what you want to see, and you can really get a good look at it there, and you can see that gloss there, and there's not really a lot of grains. The flour is cooked very well. That's perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip this PK. I'm going to do it with my hands on it. Once again, don't put your hands into hot stuff unless you got hot stuff proof hands.
Meej wants to know, can we substitute onion salt for onion in the sauce?
Absolutely. And you know, we actually, in the first one, Meej, that we did out of the box, we actually added onion salt because I wanted to get that flavor of actual bechamel. So that's really cool. Nappe consistency. Young Warrior is using some, he's using some real terms here. Nappe. Now what nappe means, for those who are not as educated as Young Warrior, nappe means that it coats the back of a spoon. And it sticks on the back of a spoon just like so. That is a perfect nappe. Sticks right on the back of the spoon. And then you flop it all over the place, make a mess. Anyway. So, having tasted it, I can taste that the PK has in fact given up its flavor. There's a tiny hint of clove, and I think the thyme is actually really nice. Not my first choice, but it's actually pretty nice. I'll go ahead and take my PK out. You can save it for whatever, but I mean, no need. That's going straight in the trash. For me anyway. But you can use it for other things if you like. And it does have a little thickening property because of the bechamel that got on it. This here, right now, is 100% basic bechamel. We're going to get it back on the heat, and I'm going to lower the heat way down to just a little bit lower than medium, right in between low and medium, because I really don't want to cook this stuff too much. And I'm going to get this, and I'm going to add the cheese slowly. And you got to keep stirring this to get the right consistency, because if you let it break, if you let the fat separate from the milk solids, it's going to turn grainy. I'm adding it in just little bits at a time. If you look over on my cutting board, you can see exactly how much cheese I have taken off so far. Okay. So that's how much cheese I've already taken, probably a quarter of it. You can see it getting pretty thick here. Velvety, melty, Mornay. So our sauce is now transformed since we added the cheese. It is now transformed from a bechamel into a Mornay. Now, I don't know if you noticed it, but it's still a little bit too thick for my liking. I can go ahead and add a little bit more half and half right now. Not have it be a problem at all. Food is needed. That is my little cousin coming to watch his uncle cook. And since the other nephew is like less than a year old, I think that's probably the 10-year-old.
DaBall would like to know, are you doing one cheese at a time or both, or does it matter?
So it really doesn't matter with these particular cheeses that we have chosen because they melt so well. And they're, consistency-wise, they're about the same. Obviously, like, if I wanted to, I'm going to add a little bit more water in there. But, if I wanted to use a cheddar, I would definitely melt that first, and I would melt it at a slower temperature. I'm gonna add a little bit more water in here because we kind of let it boil down a bit, making our bechamel. So the easy answer is I am doing one cheese at a time, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to. You got to be a little careful because, well, as you can see now, it's getting a little sloshy. You want to add that and incorporate that really softly. Now, I don't have it on the heat. I'm taking it on and off the heat. I'm controlling the temperature at which everything melts. Doing it nice and slow. I mean, I know some people like to cook fast. Well, let me tell you, the best cooks and the best food takes time to prepare.
Bear Grylls would like to know, can you explain the other mother sauces and why they are important better than I can?
All right, so the mother sauces, like I said before, they mean that every other sauce or soup or base can be made from those. There are 5 altogether, bechamel being the first. The second is velouté, which is a thickened chicken stock. The third one is your basic tomato. So tomato sauce is actually a mother sauce. Then you have one called an Espanol, which is a brown sauce that sort of resembles brown gravy. Kind of a thicker bechamel, a thicker stock. And, there we go. Okay, so, that's 4. And then the 5th one is, of course, Hollandaise. Hollandaise is a sauce that is mixed butter and egg yolk, and it's actually really simple. It's butter, egg yolk, and like lemon juice, a little tad bit of lemon juice, salt and pepper to taste. I'm going to continue to take now and add another big handful of cheese. This is mostly the smoked Gouda. So we already had the smoked provolone in there. Now we got a good fat chunk of the smoked Gouda. You guys can do this for Thanksgiving too, man. People will love you for this. So if the cheese doesn't start to melt right away, you can up the temperature just a little. It's not so sensitive that it'll break right away, but the cheese should start to dissolve as soon as you put it in there. And we're just continuing to stir, and you can see now the consistency that we're starting to get is pretty good. If it's still too thick, if you still think it's too stodgy or too thick, you can always add more half and half. You can even add chicken stock or water if you really wanted to. But half and half, I'm just going to keep going with that.
Original Itty would like to know how much cheese goes into this.
So right now we're using about 4 cups of the cheese. And you can actually melt more cheese over the top if you wanted to, if you're really into that kind of crazy cheesy vibe. But this one right here is, to my knowledge, the most historically and most traditionally accurate mac and cheese that we can get. Maybe not the cheeses themselves. I mean, I believe that the Thomas Jefferson one calls for York cheddar, which it's actually a little bit sharper than your regular cheese that you would get at the store. York cheddar and I believe a more mild cheddar. You can use better melting cheeses like mozzarella. Monterey Jack works really well. Yeah. So, that awesome cheesy goodness. I'm going to go ahead and grab up the rest of my cheese, kind of round it up, and throw it in for the last cheese. All right. There we go. There she goes in. Putting it together real nice. Now I'm going to go ahead and pop on the oven. I'm going to bake this at 365 degrees for about 20 minutes. We're going to wait for the old oven to heat up, and I'm going to show you about the noodles that we're going to use. Traditionally, macaroni and cheese is made with macaroni. And I wanted to keep this as close to traditional as possible, but unfortunately my budget is pretty thin. So I could only get one noodle, and I decided on cavatappi. And I'll show you cavatappi. It's a really fun, really cool noodle. It's also a macaroni, however. So right. This is a cavatappi noodle. And you can see that it has a hole down the center of it, but it's actually like a corkscrew, sort of. And I'm going to drop that right in the water where it belongs. Swish! I'm going to add, let's say, I'm going to do 3 cups of cavatappi. That looks like approximately 3 cups. Just stir that up, make sure that it's moving around. Now, ideally, I would like a little bit more water in there, but I got a limited amount of space, so that's where kind of where I'm going to end up. Now, we're going to see to the cheese. Make sure that it isn't getting crazy. Man, the smell of the smoked mozzarella, or the smoked provolone and the smoked Gouda getting together. Oh my goodness, look at that. Look at that. So you want to keep stirring, by the way. As long as you have it on heat, which I do have it on a lower heat, as long as you have it on heat, you want to continue to stir it a little bit because you don't want it to break up. And actually, the more that you stir these cheeses, the more that the proteins will break down, and it'll actually make it smoother. Like a lot of times when you put a lot of cheese into a pasta, it just kind of makes it really stringy. And that's the reason why we chose these good melting cheeses for this. So we're just waiting on this guy right now. We're waiting on the oven to heat up. We're waiting on water to boil again so we can get these noodles cooked. And these cavatappi, man, they get pretty big. They get a pretty good size. There are smaller ones that don't have the ridges on them, and those are called fusilli, and they work very well in place. They are also a type of macaroni. So macaroni is pretty much just the pasta with the hole in the middle, except for there's another one called bucatini, which is like a spaghetti with a hole in it. I love that stuff. Now, as you can see here, there's a tiny separation. If you look on the very edge of the cheese, there's a tiny separation of something going on right there. And what that is that's the fats from the cheese starting to separate. We do not want that. We want to continue to stir this stuff up. And we're probably going to take it off the heat now because you can see that there's something going on there. We don't really want it to break. And if it's too thick and the cream has gotten too crazy, you can add just a tiny little bit of water in there. Water can kind of stop it and save it. We'll add just a little bit of water in there to make sure that this thing doesn't break. Because if it breaks, it turns into a mess and it's gross. And you know what? I'll actually show you what happens when this sauce breaks. I'm going to take out a little tiny bit and I'm going to show you what happens when it breaks. It's not pretty. So I grabbed out just a little bit of our Mornay, and I'm going to put it on a pretty intense heat. Yeah, oven knows what's up.
DaBall asks, I'm guessing there is not saving it if it breaks.
So you can, in fact, save broken things, broken sauces. And there are a couple different ways, and it doesn't always work. But like Ava was saying right there, if her hollandaise breaks, she adds a little bit of cold water to it. You cold water, and you get it mixed up really well. And you get that mixed up really well, and it'll start going. And you might be able to get it back. You may be able to save it. But like I said, man, once you get a broken sauce, it's trouble. So you can see that little bit of water has effectively stopped it from the little bit of breakage.
So you said it was Ava, but it was actually Young Warrior's hollandaise.
Oh, my apologies. The legend, Young Warrior. You guys are both green, and I don't have the best eyesight in my old age, so I'm looking across the room here at your chat. Yes, Brandon Marsh could definitely unbreak any sauce you can imagine. You can also use cold milk to do it. All right, so these noodles, I'm kind of feeling them. There's still a little bit of crunchy in there, so I'm going to let them keep going. But they're starting to open up. Now our breaking bechamel is going to start to happen over there. Sorry, Mornay. The cheese is in there. It's no longer a bechamel, it's now a Mornay. You guys are all legends. Now, you can see that this sauce has actually been made fairly well by yours truly, because look at the amount of heat that it is taken to break this stuff. It is really, it's almost at a full boil now, and it's still holding together. All right, now it's definitely breaking. We can start to see the clear oils that are coming off of it. This is definitely well broken. Yes, I do in fact have another camera. I'm literally just waiting on another USB extender in the mail. So yeah, now you can see this little bit here is an officially broken sauce.
So Bear Grylls would like to know, which do you recommend, the cold water or the milk?
Depending on what it is. Like this, for example, I would probably go with water because we already have so much cream in there. Half and half. We already have so much in there that the milk solids there's a lot of milk solids in there. And the less milk solids that we add in there is the less chance for it to separate. So in that case, I would choose cold water. But let's say a hollandaise, for example, a little bit of that could go together really well because the proteins that you're getting from the egg yolks are significant, but they're also not as forgiving. They're not as flexible as actual dairy. So I would go cold water in a hollandaise, and I would almost always go with water in a Mornay. Got to keep stirring this, making sure it's still staying good. Also going to keep that icky skin off the top of it. You know what I'm talking about with your soups. You get skin on the top of it. Next thing, I'm going to pop out a nice... I'm going to make a big, huge noise first. I'm going to grab out a Pyrex. These things are made for heavy baking. This one is an Anchor ovenware, which is still a good product. Pyrex is usually the one I go with, but the newer Pyrexes, man, they are not what they used to be.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
So that beep is letting us know that the oven is up to temperature. I'm going to check my noodle here. It is pretty nice and al dente. Now the thing is, you don't have to cook this stuff as long, these pastas as long, because you're also going to be cooking them in the oven. So the oven and the cheese will continue to cook them the rest of the way. And I'm going to grab my faithful strainer, strain this out. I want to shake that out and make sure that I get the water out of it again. This one, not so bad. It's got ISO oil stuck to the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the heat to that, even though it's still going to be warm enough to make it boil. But I'm going to add it over here. Now we got these cavatappi noodles. Cavatappi. They're ready to receive the cheese. Cheese sauce. I'm going to mix it back up, make sure that it's got that sheen back on it, and none of the skin. Make sure that it's not breaking anywhere. And if it is, we'll fix it just how we did it before, just a tiny bit of water. But this is looking real good. I'm going to go ahead and put that right in. I'm going to start with this much, just so that while I mix it in, I can kind of get a feel for how much it's going to take. It might not take all that sauce. Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I don't really measure anything. I kind of go by feel. So I'm not 100% sure how much this stuff is going to work. The cool thing about Mornay is that you can save it. I can pop this in a bag or some kind of storage container, anything like that. And I can hold on to this for the next time I get some shitty box mac that I want to eat real quick, and I don't want to have to worry about it. Brenda, man, I miss you guys. I got to get out there again. Theo and Dark Horse are actual personal friends from friends of mine that I went to high school with. And they're just like probably the coolest people on earth, especially like parent-wise. They're just really cool. And all right, so you can see this right now that this mac and cheese right now is edible, completely edible. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna bake it even longer. Actually, I'm gonna drop the temperature since it's already so well put together and doesn't need a lot of cooking. I'm gonna drop that to 350 instead of 365.
DaBall would like to know, is there a good way of knowing when to stop adding more sauce?
It's really to your taste. I mean, if you want it to have a bunch of sauce, then you can do that. If I could add all the sauce in there right now, but I feel like this is a fair amount of sauce for what I'm looking for. It's really coating the noodles. It's very nice. Now I'm going to go ahead and transfer it directly to the Pyrex. Now, you got to be careful about Pyrexes, especially doing this thing that I'm doing right now. If your cook surface is hot, no matter how good your Pyrex is, it is breakable. Extreme heat temperatures at extremely fast or extremely slow will break this tempered glass. But since we didn't use that burner for very long, I'm not too concerned about it, but I'm definitely not going to just leave it sitting there for a long period of time. I'm actually going to move that out of the way now. We're going to move out our broken sauce experiment. Did you guys want to see if I could bring that back to life, or are we going to move on? Let's see what we got here. You want me to try to bring that Mornay back to life? It's pretty broke.
Yes, says Bear Grylls.
All right. Bear Grylls says, bring it back to life. So I'm going to let some nice cool water run. I want to get it nice and cold as I can do it. I can even add ice to it if I'm really trying to, if I really need to do it in a pinch. I'll even add some ice to it. So heat, of course, the heat's still on from that. I can see it starting to bubble again. But the less temperature that's going on with this right now, the better. So I'm going to add the splash of the cold water. And then I'm going to just start whisking the hell out of it. Now you can see right there, it's back to life. This is a good sauce. We did our mise en place. We got it back together. This sauce, it wants to live.
It's alive!
It's alive! I'm going to continue to add cold water. I'm going to continue to stir it. And you can see it's coming back. Now, it's gotten a little thin. That's all right, though. We put that back on the heat. We can kind of simmer it back down to where it gets to the temperature that we want it at. But if you're ever in a jam, now you know what to do. Bring this sauce back to life. Cold water saves the day. We have ourselves Mornay once again. Now I can't stop playing with it. Yeah, it's good though. It's definitely good. It's not going anywhere. Next, I'm gonna grab my chicken in a biscuit. Some people use garlic breadcrumbs, and I do have those. Panko breadcrumbs, panko, which is the Japanese breadcrumb that's basically ubiquitous now. Not just a Japanese secret or something. I'm going to open these chicken and biscuit. This is your chicken and a biscuit. I'm going to transfer that over. Chicken and a biscuit. So what?
Dr. Jones.
Dr. Jones. Oh, Dr. Jones is heading to bed. Thank you so much, Indy, for coming on in here and showing your support. I am so happy to have you as a friend and as a fellow streamer. And you guys are great. I hope you have a great night. Get some sleep. I know you've been doing that extra life stuff. And anyone who wants to go watch and follow Dr. Indiana Jones, he plays a lot of cool games. He's a hilarious guy. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Jones.
Not Dr. Jones. Everybody follow Dr. Jones. I don't know who they're trying to keep out of this chicken and a biscuit, man. This package is tucked. So, chicken and a biscuit, for those who haven't had it, they're these little crackers, and they're coated in chicken base. So they're real salty, and they have like a chicken flavoring added to them. It's basically just powdered chicken base. All right. So there are a couple different ways you can break into them. You can crush them up. My personal favorite is a Ziploc bag, which I'm going to grab. Here's a gallon Ziploc bag. It's perfect. So these are like the more heavy-duty, hefty bags. Lucas is stealing the crackers. I'm just going to ground these up in there. Get in that bag. Still some little cheese specks on my board because I didn't clean it off. Rookie. Alright, now, I actually leave a little bit of an air hole open here for the first part. Just a little bit so that I can actually crush it up. If I don't, there's going to be a air pocket in there, and the air pocket's not going to work out very well. I'm just going to crunch this stuff up. Now, if you don't have the hand strength for this, or if you don't like the feeling of it, or whatever, you can literally just take a pot and just mush it down. There's a reason why we got the hefty bag, because they put up with some abuse. I'm just kind of using that to roll it back and forth. Make some nice breadcrumbs that are chickeny flavored. Oh, hey, let's see if we can't get DaBall modded. We definitely want to get DaBall modded, and we definitely want to get...
Bear with me, guys, if I accidentally do something.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out how to mod. DaBall could probably tell us how to mod right away, and that would save us some time. We definitely want to mod Ficus, and we definitely want to mod DaBall. And we definitely want to mod Meej. So those are going to be our 3 mods for this new channel. Congratulations. Thank you also. Oh, man, you got to get the hefty. All right. We got our breadcrumbs. They're looking good. Next thing we got to do is in this very pan I was just mushing it with, we're going to take some butter, and we're going to melt that butter. Use /mod and then username, says DaBall.
Oh, in the chat?
Yep. So you're going to have to pull it from my...
/mod.
Oh, you're not a mod, lady.
I'm not a mod.
Oh, wait.
But I'm in yours.
Okay, yeah, good. We're good. I don't know what's going on. She knows what's going on more than I do. I'm going to take half of this butter, stick of butter, pop it down the middle, and I'm going to melt it. Slowly. I don't want it to break. I'm just kidding. Butter pretty much always breaks.
Do I need to put a space in between the mod and the name?
Or click the name in the chat. /mod, name. There you go. A7's showing you how to do it. All right.
Yay!
There we go.
You are a moderator now, DaBall.
Congratulations, DaBall. Thank you to the agency, which is a name that I just made up on the spot. Operative 9 and the agency. So we're let's switch over that camera. Sorry. We're back over here onto the regular cutting board, or rather the stove top. Oven's up to 350. Now in here, we're gonna add some onion salt.
Good night, Hasten.
Hasten going off to bed. That's unfortunate.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. I am so happy for the support. I don't know who brought you in here. I don't know if you came in here by yourself, but thank you very much for coming in. This is my very first stream, very first time. I gotta tell you guys, I'm living the dream. A little bit of onion salt that I put into that butter, which is melting very slowly. I want it to be nice and slow. And you know what? I'm actually gonna put on. I'll wash out a pan here, and I'm gonna put on more water for Meej's gluten-free mac. Who's gonna eat all the macaroni and cheeses? You know, Ava, that is a very good question. I think I'm probably, you know, I'm a mama's boy. I live about 4 doors down from my mom, and they are herbalists, we'll just say, and they would probably eat a good amount of this mac and cheese. All 4 of them. Actually, I might end up only doing 3. I'm sorry, guys, but I gotta open at work tomorrow. I just got off work. I gotta open at work real early tomorrow, so I might cut it down to 3 this time. But the cool thing about this is, Young Warrior was actually asking me if I was gonna release a ingredients list so that you could cook along. And like, while that's a good idea, I love the fact that these videos are going to be saved, so you guys can actually go back. You can find the right ingredients, you can take the time, and then you can literally make it along with me by just watching the, you know, watching the video. Fill this baby up. Get it rolling. Okay, now the butter is almost completely melted. So far it's just garlic, or just onion salt. I'm gonna actually come through here. Let's see what I have in the old storage. Oh, check this out. This is some locally made Navides truffle salt. It's a white truffle sea salt. And let's see if we can get in on that. Yeah, kind of weird. Well, actually, thanks for that, Meej, by the way. Oh, we also wanted to mod Meej and also yourself. So, anyway, I got this, yeah, I'm going to try and get YouTube set up there so that you guys can have them on YouTube as well. Now, this stuff, this truffle salt, it's very, very powerful, so we're only going to use a little bit. Just the tiniest little, less than 1/4 teaspoon, just a pinch.
Ava asks, how often are you going to stream?
How often I'm going to stream? If you actually look down there, I did a little bit of pre-work where I kind of made my schedule. It's down there for you guys all to see. I'm planning right now on 4 days a week. I know that's a lot, but one of them is going to be a gaming day so that I can go and play with Young Warrior and play with Hopan and play with anybody who wants to play games. And so we're not cooking all the time, but I'm planning on cooking 3 days a week and having one stream where we just do whatever. And I've still got to figure out how to make the time to hang out with all of you great people. And I definitely will. I'm not going to stop hanging out. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of parsley flake to this. Let's say that's about a little more than a teaspoon. And it's basically just for looks, honestly. Now that I have this little concoction, and it's not warm at all, just warm enough to melt the butter, I'm gonna go back over here to the crumbs that I have made out of the chicken in a biscuit. And I'm just gonna pour it right into that bag. So now that I got it poured into the bag, I'm gonna close it back up, and I'm just gonna kind of move it around in there and get all of the crumbs coated in that butter. What that's gonna do is the milk fats in the butter and the oils are actually going to help this to brown. And basically all we're doing at this point in the cooking of our mac and cheese is getting it to brown. So, there we go. See in there, it's good and mixed. And now we got those cool little green specks from the parsley that kind of set it off a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and bring that right over here. And I'm going to add it right to the top. Meej Sprite, welcome to the agency. You are a sword. You are a moderator now. You can do all the cool things that DaBall is going to teach you. Thank you so much, DaBall, for coming in. Oh yeah, so you gotta do both of them. Those are. Did you? DaBall actually uses I's in his name instead of L's.
I modded 2 L's.
All right, so we gotta get that one fixed.
So
Who
it's
is?
not.
So the regular DaBall, we gotta get rid of him. How do we do that? Because we don't even know that guy.
Sorry. There's some random guy out there just like, what the?
So now I'm just kind of slowly working those breadcrumbs over the top. And I want to get it nice and crispy there. And you know what I'm going to do? I don't think we got enough cheese. Nah, just a little bit more of that provolone on there. Just to get it nice and bubbly over the top as well. Not a whole lot, just a couple of sprinkles here and there. Get our sprinkles in there. Alright, and then just like so, into the oven it goes. Pop that in the oven, it's looking good. I'm going to set that for 20 minutes. 20 minutes, that's all we need. Alright. We got the mod mayhem going on. Man, let me tell you, whoever this guy with the L's is, I bet he gets asked all the time super technical questions, and he probably doesn't know. No way. No way, he don't know. DaBall is a technomancer. He is a wizard. This guy has made sentient bots in Young Warrior's chat. You gotta go see it. Anybody who isn't in Young Warrior Fine Art, you can check him out right there on the chat. Anyone who isn't following him should go ahead and follow him now. He's got the best chat. He's got the best vibes. He's got the best art. The man is a legend. Let me tell you, if you know, when I have a bad day at work, hard day at work, I come home, Thekus knows this, we turn on Young Warrior, and we join the Warriors. And they are all so positive and so nice. And they all watch. You know, we all watch and we all come together and we talk about cool things. And Thekus and I prepare a meal together with Young Warrior. And I usually send a picture to him of what we cooked. DaBall's even got a little thing that says, "What's for dinner?" And he puts that up there, and I tell you guys what we cooked that day. But now, you'll get to see it. Yeah, man, let me tell you, this thing, ugh. So it's actually not all that dirty, but it just looks like it, man. This thing, it's glass, so it picks up. Once again, don't do this at home unless you want to burn yourself. That's the cool thing about it, though. Even though it looks wrecked on the monitor, in the camera, it's so easy to clean. We had this, you know, the old school coils, man. I was thinking they're not easy to clean. All right. Now, let me see if I can do this thing that I've been wanting to do. Can you go and grab me that alligator arm for the camera? Awesome. Okay, let's switch off that camera.
Bear with us just a moment, guys.
I want to thank Seroy Jenkins, by the way, for doing the opening thing for us on very short notice. He did that today. It was the very last second, and he did my little opening thing for me. He even made the music. The man is a genius. He took the pictures, he put them all together, he made the music. There's literally nothing that this guy can't do. He's a photographer, and you can follow him at CK Picture Maker on Instagram, I believe. And he is one of the most amazing photographers that you're ever going to see. Like, this guy has a huge talent. And he's also a longtime friend and cook. So we're moving around some cameras here, and I'm going to try out something new that I haven't tried yet.
We're trying to get you another cheese cam right now, guys.
Yes, the melty cheese cam. So, anybody have any other questions about any kind of culinary stuff? Just let me know. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about the project that we have today or anything else culinarily that you can think of. Any quandaries you have about food at all. These cameras aren't the easiest to set up, but they work pretty well and they were a good price, so you can't.
Young Warrior would like to know what ideas you have for upcoming streams.
Well, that's a good question. I've been kind of like flying by the seat of my pants here for a while, but one of the things I definitely want to do is I want to continue our journey into mother sauces for you guys so that you can kind of learn what mother sauces are what. You can learn how to use them, and you can even start seeing in applications what the mother sauces are. Let's go ahead and change to that camera. See what we got.
You can't really.
Not getting a good view.
Oh, it's upside down.
Well, darn, that's not working.
Well, we now have the upside down cheese cam.
It's in the upside down. Which, if you guys aren't watching Stranger Things, you should do that. It is a good show. yeah, I've been trying to rig up mounts and all kinds of things for these cameras for so many days. And I literally just got them, like I want to say a couple days ago. All the cameras finally. Let's see, how's that looking?
Oh, let's get back over there. You can see a little bit, it's a little bright.
Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click off this light. I'm going to click off this light.
Oh, it's a light in the stove, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's those darn dots. Speaking of Kiba. There's something else we can use this for. Kiba. I want to introduce you guys to my sous chef. Kiba. Right here, bud. Hi, buddy. This is my sous chef, Kiba. Look at the camera. He hates cameras. That's a good boy.
He's on the search right now, guys.
That's a good boy. You want a piece of cheese? Oh, yeah, you want a piece of cheese. Look at that face. You want cheese? You want to try it out? Okay, here you go. Good boy. Good boy, Kiba.
Change the focus of autofocus. I don't know, it seems to be coming in pretty.
You bet he wants that cheese, man. He is a cheese hound. Who doesn't want cheese? Let's go ahead and switch that cam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's always there. He's always volunteering to help and taste.
And bear with us again, we're just getting the camera set back up.
It's just, you know, boiling water as of right now. We're still waiting for that thing to, Kiba is a legend, let me tell you. How's that camera looking? Is it on point?
You have it backwards, or a little further back.
Okay.
There we go.
That's weird, it seems like it's closer or something. There we go.
No, it's still. Look.
Okay, a little bit far in the front. There we go. All right, so while we're waiting for that to bake, let's flip it over. Ta-da! There's Deakus.
Hi, guys. And slide away.
All right, there we are. Let me tell you, that's smelling really good. The smoked cheeses in there, the buttery crumbs of chicken in a biscuit. It's really smelling good. So good, in fact, that I might even take a taste of it and break my diet. So let's see if I can get this chat room over here. I'm pretty proud of the monitor setups that we have so far. The chat's really very easily readable from whatever I'm doing. So I do like that. Joy in the dark side, says Bear Grylls. Sugar-free Red Bull keeping me awake. the digital transfer of smells. Yeah. I don't even know how you begin to do that, but man, can you imagine? Or as Young Warrior Fine Art says very often, imagine. Chat, man. So happy to see all you folks in here. Look at all these little chat windows and whatnot. So, what do you think, DaBall? Are we answering some of your mac and cheese quandaries? If anybody can make that happen, by the way, it's DaBall. Technological wizard. Let me go check my water real quick. That's at about a boil. Turn that down. The next one I'm going to do is the gluten-free pasta. Now, gluten-free pasta kind of scares the hell out of me. And the reason why it scares the hell out of me is because it's made out of partial rice. And then, I don't know if you've ever tried to cook rice in a lot of water, but it makes it pretty damn gummy. So I got the Berea kind. Now, Princess Natasha, who was a regular in Young Warrior's stream, has done a gluten-free mac and cheese. She actually has a video of it. And man, it looked great. It looked really good. But she used I think it was Ancient Harvest, and it was a different kind of grain. Quinoa. So it was quinoa and corn together. And she said that it stuck together really well. So I tend to believe the things that Natasha says, and go ahead and use that one. Because the Berea, we're going to find out if it works today. Oh, geez, Red Bull. Oh, geez, Rick. Well, you know, I'm drinking the poison so I can stay up and have fun with you guys. Wait till you see it, DaBall, man. It is a beautiful thing. When it comes out all crispy and golden brown and just gooey in the middle, and those two cheeses really working together. If you like cheese, like sharper cheese, you could definitely use cheddar. It's a more traditional way to do it, but yeah, man, any kind of cheese you want. Keep in mind that some of the cheeses just aren't meant to melt. If you add, say if you added brie, for example, brie would break very easily because it's already very soft.
But brie is fantastic for grilled cheeses.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, actually, that's what we could do. You know, I'm sorry I didn't get to it earlier, but Young Warrior was asking me a question about future streams, and one of them should definitely be grilled cheese sandwiches, because I've mastered them. Yeah, smoked Gouda and aged cheddar, man. That is the perfect combination for a good mac and cheese, for sure. Kind of watching it over in the corner of my eye there, just making sure. I love this new stove we got is pretty cool with the light inside of it, and you can see through it, see where it's going. But yeah, so we actually made a grilled cheese here. We used apricot preserves. We used Portland French sourdough bread, which has got very just beautiful bubbles in it and all kinds of things. But yeah, it's a beautiful piece of rustic bread. And then we use the preserves, and then we use triple cream brie and just a tiny bit of Munster cheese. You know, whole real butter. You got to go with real butter. There's no other way. just a pinch of salt on the outside of the butter, and then we grill it. And it's probably one of the best sandwiches that's out there. Man, we gotta figure out what's going on with that, Meej. We need you around. I miss you guys. Thanks, Bear. Bear Grylls, man. I can't wait to see what you put together. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be hilarious. I cannot wait. So anybody in the room who's got an extra follow to throw it the way of Bear Grylls. He hasn't started yet, but he should be starting soon. And I guarantee you, this guy is a funny dude. And he also has a lot of actual cooking knowledge. So he's going to be grilling outside and drinking his Keystone and having a good old time. And I might even pop over there and help out.
Heck yeah!
So, it's been about 15 minutes, I think. And I'm going to go ahead and go check it. And I'll tell you what's going on with that. All right. Oh my goodness. This is looking very, very promising, ladies and gents. So, each and every stream that you guys pop into, it is my hope that we're going to make it exponentially better every time. This is our very first time, and I don't know, because I'm not really watching it. You know, it's a lot of work I'm doing here, just to keep stuff from burning and whatnot. So I don't really know how it's looking out there, but it feels like, to me, it feels like we've already got a pretty good formula set up. But we got more cameras incoming. We've got more bigger, better things. We've got music. We've got graphics. We've got all these people online to help us out. And a lot of them are in here tonight. And, like, I don't know about you, C-Roy, but I have a feeling that we can make this thing super tight. And early on, even before we get affiliated. And trust me, affiliation, it's going to come quick if you guys keep hanging out with us and watching us cook and cooking along with us and just having a good time. So I'm going to show you where we're at now. This is where we're at right now. We are currently looking at, it's fairly golden, honestly. My camera's a little bit off, a little bit wonky. But yeah, so it's actually looking fairly golden right now. And you could even stop here if you wanted. But I am not satisfied with that. I want it to be crispier. I want it to be crunchier. I want it to be peanut butterier. No peanut butter, no. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it back in the oven. And it technically does have 5 more minutes. So for the last 5 minutes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it onto broil. I'm going to put the broiler on. Now what that does in most conventional ovens is that it takes it from the bottom coil and it moves it from the top coil. Delglad, Justin, my friend. This is one of my friends from way back. We went to high school together. We might have even gone to middle school together. Man, I haven't seen him in a long time, and I can't wait until I see him again. Delglad, everybody. Super cool dude, legend. So yeah, anyway, we're turning it on. The bottom heating element turns off and the top one turns on. And yeah, we're going to watch it very carefully because the broiler works fast. And we want it golden brown. We don't want it dark.
Oh yeah, the camera's wigging out.
Yeah. So this reflective surface, the cams don't like it. Yeah, the cams don't like that reflective surface at all. There, we'll give it something to focus on. We'll look at the temperature going on right now, which if you can read upside down, that's 525 degrees coming from the broiler. And I am definitely keeping an eye on it right now. The Op9 zone?
The Op9 zone.
I like it. Young Warrior. Dude, I'm so happy that you're still in here. Are you working tomorrow, brother? Because, man, it's late over there. You're an hour ahead of us. I don't know about that, Delglad. I don't know about that. Oh my goodness. I gotta figure out a way to get a camera inside of the oven. Now that would be a next level shot. And I'm sure that C-Roy is already trying to figure out ways to make that happen. My goodness.
We have Sortastic saying hello from Texas.
Hello from Texas. Man, I bet you they make some damn good mac and cheese out there in Texas. Sortastic. So, Sortastic, what we're doing right now is we're just finishing up our mac and cheese. We're on the second way. I'm actually going to do it 3 ways today. And the second one is my variation of the casserole, or the southern style way of doing it. I've got 2 different cheeses in there. I've got smoked provolone, and I've got a fine smoked Gouda. As you can see, it's on the camera right now. It came out, man, it's perfectly golden brown. These crumbs that we're using are actually, they're actually chicken in a biscuit that we crunched up. So I'm going to get you a nice close-up of that. So you can see how crispity and crunchy it came out. It's perfect. It's ready to eat. And I'm about ready to serve up some to Thekus, who's probably smelling it and really wanting it. But yeah, so glad to see you guys in here, especially from Texas. I hope that everything worked out well for you down there. I know you guys were having some real bad weather. And I hope you guys have bounced back at least a little bit. Okie dokie. You ready for the main event? We're going to pull into this. And I'm going to keep it right under here so you can see how it looks. It came together so nice. There's a crispy cheese over the top of it. Oh man, that Mornay sauce looks delicious. The cheese melding with the cavatappi noodles. It's come together there just perfectly. A perfect amount of breadcrumbs too. You don't want so many breadcrumbs that it's crunchy and it's too crunchy. But I think this is just about the perfect amount. And you can see on the bottom. For me, anyway, my personal preference when you make a macaroni and cheese is that when it comes out of the pan, you don't see cheese immediately oozing out into the empty spot. That would mean that the cheese was like not thick enough, or that it was too soft or something like that. But yeah, here we go. We're going to go and give it a try. Let's bring the chat over. And we'll sit down and watch go. Diet breaking moment right here.
Okay, let's see.
Consistency, dreadful.
Oh dear. It reminds me of my mother's.
Nice crispy crunch.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
That's good, guys. It's got a good crunch. Not overly cheesy, actually. It's got a good, nice smoky flavor to it. Love that smoky flavor. And it's just fantastic. I don't know what else to say.
I'm going in for another bite.
Even Kiva's gonna get some.
This is Chef Kiva. All right, so the ball. I hit my head on the mic again. Mm. So DaBall, there we go with our first casserole style mac and cheese.
Young Warrior would like you to tell us about the sauce mixture.
So the sauce texture.
Texture, I'm sorry.
Okay. So the texture of the sauce. And this is an important thing. You can still see in here. I'll bring it real close to the camera for you so that you can see some of the sauce inside of the casserole. And you can see that the sauce, even though it's beginning to cool down, that it actually isn't grainy at all. There's no grain in there. There's no, it's thick, but it's not like super cheesy. You can actually add more cheese into there aside from the sauce if you want to actually get that kind of like stringy cheese effect in there. You can add just like uncooked cheese into it as you're mixing it all up in the mixture. And then you'll get some of those like stringy cheeses that a lot of people like. So yeah, that one is the one that's special for DaBall. The next one that we're going to do, the third and final installment, is the dreaded gluten-free pasta. We're gonna go gluten-free mac and cheese here, ladies and gentlemen. It's upside down, it's backwards, it's sideways. It's whatever. And our water's boiled down again, so we're gonna add some more into there. Wait up for that. Okay, so gluten-free. We're getting into a problem right away. We're getting into a problem right away here with a gluten-free macaroni and cheese. Unfortunately, we cannot make a bechamel because the bechamel is, of course, made with flour. So we're going to have to figure out some other way to make this without any kind of flour in it. We're going to wait for the sauce to boil. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what's called an a la minute sauce. The a la minute sauce is basically we're going to take the pan, we're going to heat up the sauce, we're going to heat up the things that we want in it, and then we're going to make it on the fly. This chat, man, you guys are cracking me up today. It's this is actually the first time that I've ever not been like 100% engaged in chat, and but it's cool, man. It's something just seeing you guys here to watch me and here to watch what I'm doing. It's really something. So our a la minute, which means, you know, in this minute basically, is going to be a lot easier actually. What we're going to do is I've got some other cheeses that are easier, even easier at melting. So pop on the light here, and we're going to go over to our cutting board. We're going to go over to our cutting board. Deacon is having real fun in the chat too.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, now I've got a couple of pre-sliced pieces of Swiss cheese that I got. A nice and thick cut. Beautiful Swiss. And we're going to cut those in the same manner that we cut the American the first time. So I'm going to julienne it first, real nice. Now, Emmentaler's, Swiss cheese like that that's made with skim milk, they tend to melt a lot better. I don't know molecularly exactly why that is, but they just have a really fine melting point. And yeah. Kiba is really wanting some of that mac and cheese. So we're waiting for the water to boil now, still. And we're just finished cutting up some of the cheese. That's the first one, the Swiss, obviously. And the second one we're going to use, I'm going to go ahead and use some straight up yellow cheddar. We'll cut that in just a sec.
What is that, says Bear Grylls. I'm not sure.
What is what? The cheese or the slices? So the slices of that's a medium cheddar, and those are just like crumbled up pieces that were in there. One of the slices actually fell apart, but yeah.
The ham-looking.
Ham-looking stuff. Yeah, that's Swiss and cheddar. All right. I'm gonna cut that up in the same way. So yeah, we're going to cut that up the same way. That's julienne, and we're going to come across again. Let's check our boiling water over there. Is it boiling?
What you're cutting right now, what is that?
That is medium cheddar cheese. It does kind of look like ham with the color, though. Yeah, I can see how you would think that that was some kind of ham. She doesn't do pig. Oh, man. Mead Sprite does not do pig. Not even bacon. Not even pork belly. Oh, man. I get you, though. Everybody's got a different diet. Everybody's got different reasons to have that diet. So, since I don't do a lot of gluten-free, I have in the past, I'm actually going to read the box. Let's see what this thing says. It says, bring 4 to 6 quarts of water to a boil. That is definitely not 4 to 6 quarts of water we got there. That's maybe a quart. Add salt to taste and add pasta to boiling water. For authentic al dente pasta, boil for 7 minutes, stirring occasionally. Now, I don't think that we should go for 7 minutes with a gluten-free pasta, or it's going to turn into some completely goopy garbage. I'm going to look more about, say, 3 to 4 minutes. Obviously, we're going to do a lot less because we're not feeding an army here. We already did a pretty good size for DaBall. So I'm going to go ahead and add what I think is good in there for this gluten-free pasta. Gluten-free wood track. But no. Actually, I did, basically I'm eating gluten-free as well. But even further, because I can't even have carbs. So a lot of the gluten-free products actually don't work for me because they're still loaded with carbohydrates. Right-click camera in OBS properties, configure camera and manual set white balance. Yeah, we've been working on the white balances a little bit. Not so much light and light control. Color gets gels and stuff, so cheddar cheese doesn't look like ham. See, C-Roy he's my my camera and audio guru, man, and he really helps me out with that stuff. So we'll get him over there. We'll get some help with the lights and things, and we'll get it. Every stream, I just want to let you guys know, every single stream, I'm going to strive to make it better so that it's a better product for everybody to see, so that it's more interactive, so that it's more fun, so that you can see the texture and beauty of real, colorful, flavorful food. All right, so I'm going to watch this like a hawk. I don't want to have it go to goop on me. And what I'm thinking is, as a chef, I'm thinking that we should try and get the heat off of this stuff as quickly as possible. So I think I'm actually going to drain it in cold water. I want to run cold water over it, make sure that it stops cooking, make sure that it's not goopy, and then we'll go right into the a la minute sauce. For the a la minute sauce, it's going to be actually a lot like the box, really, the sauce packet, the cheese packet that we used before. It's going to be a little bit like that, but with a little bit more real-time ingredients. Time's going by here. Checking the pasta. Alright, so at this point, it's getting a little bit springier, but it's still very much crunchy. I'd say within another minute we'll have a fair al dente. They all still agree on the words. Immortal Ninja, man. This guy always has his thinking cap on. He sees things a little bit differently than other people. He's had a lot of experiences. Mead Sprite says, I sometimes think it's easier for people to understand a person being celibate than giving up bacon. Yeah, a little bit. I don't know what bacon did to hurt you, but more bacon for me. No, I there are some pretty disreputable farm practices that go on, especially with pork. And, pigs are very intelligent creatures. And they're really actually close to us, honestly. But, bacon, man. Then there's bacon. Pork belly, man. If you've ever had a delicious pork belly sandwich, like, we made this pork belly Cuban at work. Man, best Cuban you ever had. That just delicious, slow braised pork belly. Different strokes, DaBall. Different strokes. Checking the pasta again. It's, I would say it's gone up in size for sure. It's starting to look transparent, which is starting to worry me. is perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull that off right now and run it under cold water instantly. I want it to stop cooking. If it keeps cooking, this gluten-free stuff is definitely going to get gummy. So I'm pouring it out, running cold water over it right now. The flavor of the pasta is actually not too bad. This one is actually made out of, it's made out of corn and rice. All right. So, it's nice and rinsed. The temperature has gone down sufficiently. Now we're going to do the sauce. A la minute sauce. Very easy. We're going to turn it on to medium heat. And now we're going to add in like anything that you want flavor-wise. If you want to add roasted red peppers, if you want to add roasted red peppers, if you want to add jalapenos, if you like spicy stuff, anything like that, you can add it in right now. A little bit of oil, and you're good to go for roasting all that stuff. Onions, chicken, anything like that. Now's the time to put it in. Bacon, you can put in bacon right now. Next, I'm going to throw in half and half. Now, heavy cream actually works better for this because heavy cream thickens a lot easier. Half and half, it's pretty light. Now I'm dropping in about a cup of half and half into this right now. I definitely want a fair amount of that in there. So I'm going to let that heat up. And then we're going to start by adding in our cheeses in slowly. You can also use pretty much any kind of cheese here. You can use American cheese. You can use American Swiss. You can use anything like that. This is basically the same kind of idea. Yeah. Basically the same kind of idea as your bechamel. Just doesn't have a thickening agent. So we're going to be using the cheese itself as a thickening agent as well as the reduction of liquid in the pan. Me, Sprite. I grew up in farm country with dairy cows and pig farms, a major part of the landscape. It heavily shaped my choice to become vegetarian based primarily on responsible agriculture and its environmental impact. All kidding aside, it's awesome to bump into someone who totally gets that and understands the basis of the viewpoint. Absolutely. You know, growing up in that environment and seeing those things and seeing the way that they do it, some people have a very problem with it. Some people it touches them on a different level. You know, I sort of grew up in a farm area as well. And for me, the animals were always treated very well within the places that I was, you know, exposed to. They had long lives. They were basically free range. They were killed as quickly and humanely as possible, and that doesn't happen everywhere, so I get that. If you don't know where your food is coming from, that's definitely a problem. I'm all about starting to get into hunting more. I want to get back into hunting. I want to get back into fishing. We're going to get ourselves a chest freezer, and we're going to try and get our own meat. All right. So the half and half is now at a pretty good heat. But I'm not going to wait. I'm going to wait now until this starts to bubble before I start messing with it. I can add seasonings, however. I'm going to add a little bit of onion salt again. This is to kind of mimic our bechamel. And actually you can mimic the flavors fairly well if you want to just add in a little bit more. Let's see, what did we use? We used thyme, I think, didn't we? Yeah, we used thyme. Which, wherever that's at. Aneth, basil. Oh, geez. This spice rack. Got it for like $5 at a Walmart or something.
The Costco.
Oh, yeah. We got our spice rack at Costco. It was like $12 or something. Yeah, we're going to go hunting. I'm just going to add just a very little bit of time in here because this is not a larger scale operation here like we did with the DaBall's. Rosemary would be good, yeah. We're trying to mimic the flavor of the natural, the natural bechamel, the original bechamel.
So totally off topic, Storktastic has a question, but do you ever do much smoking like brisket, ribs, pork, etc.?
You know, I've got quite a bit of time with braising and smoking meat, and brisket obviously is like the king of smoked meat. I used to run a wood-fired oven that was basically mostly for pizzas, but we ran it with cherry wood. Sometimes we would run it with apple wood, and you can actually get a really good smoky environment inside of that oven. It was an expensive one too, but yeah, I've got quite a bit of experience with it, and probably not as much as you got down there in Texas for sure. I would love to go down there. I'd love to travel around and learn the ways of other people. Our half and half is starting to boil up now, so we don't want to let it boil over, obviously, but that means that it's reducing. We got the bubbles that we need. We're gonna go ahead and start adding our cheese. I'm gonna add in half of it right away. I want to stir it. I want to keep stirring it because once again, I want the cheese to form. I want the cheese, the proteins to kind of relax, but I don't want it to break at all. Notice how we're not adding butter. We can add some at the end if we feel like our sauce isn't performing how we would like it to. But we're literally just using the elasticity in the proteins of mostly the Swiss. The Swiss is allowing this sauce to come together the most. The cheddar's adding a more familiar flavor, I suppose. I bet Thagis is going to be interested in this one because she is not much on the gluten-free stuff. She's probably wondering what the hell it tastes like.
It tastes like my soul just left a little bit.
I'm going to wager a bet. I'm kidding. Yeah. I'm going to wager a bet that you can't even tell that this is gluten-free pasta.
Well, how is that supposed to be a real test when I already know it's gluten-free pasta?
Well, you do know it's gluten-free pasta, but I mean, there's not going to be any kind of problem, I don't know. Absolutely Storktastic, man. It's so nice to have you in here. This is my very, very first stream. I'm sure you probably heard it by now, but yeah, my very, very first stream. Following the dream. Spreading some culinary knowledge. And having a good time with my buddies. Now, as you can see, Meej, this has started to form into a sauce. Unfortunately, it looks a little grainy. So what are we going to do? We definitely don't want a grainy pasta sauce. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to let it go a little bit longer. I want to see where this comes out. The problem is that right now that there isn't any binder. There's no gluten binder that's holding the fats together. And that is causing a problem with breaking. And the first thing I'm going to do is turn it down. Because I don't want it to bubble up anymore. I want it to go nice and slowly. Because if it goes fast, it's going to break. And we're going to have to revive her again. And it might seem counterintuitive, but I'm going to add just a little bit more cheese. And I'm going to use a tiny bit of butter. And that butter is actually going to interact with the fats on a different level. And add a little bit something extra. So, this is a technique that in French is called mont au beurre. It means to mount with butter. And we take it completely off the heat and we stir in the butter vigorously And what it does is it adds a sheen. And that sheen is going to be something that looks a lot like the original mac and cheese that we were doing earlier. That sheen that comes from the bechamel. And you can see it already starting to happen. Maybe you can't. I'll lift it up for you. But you can see the mounting process is starting to give it more of a sheen. Now, at this point, I can add a bunch more cheese. I can probably add double as much cheese as I had in there first, because this sauce is looking kind of loose. But, luckily enough for us, we can add that gluten-free pasta in there, and it will probably start to soak it up. So again, not a gluten-free expert, but today, we're using our chef knowledge to work it out. Now, I got the cold pasta. It's back on the heat here, but it's not hot. And I'm going to take this mounted sauce, and I'm going to go ahead and pop it right in there. And now we mix. Also, another good trick is if you're having trouble with the sauce. I think this sauce ended up coming together pretty well. So I'm not actually going to mess with it. But if I couldn't fix it, if I couldn't stop it from being draining, from being like grainy, what I would have done is then I would have gone for cornstarch. And I would have made a slurry, which is cold water again and cornstarch. And I would have added it to the sauce, which would have thickened it, but it also, the molecules of cornstarch would have gotten fat, and they would have brought the broken proteins back together. Kind of like a little liaison in between the two. So I'm going to go ahead and... I got it on like medium-low heat. And I'm going to heat it back up because we remember our noodles were completely cold. And you can see that these noodles, they're staying pretty good. They haven't gotten gummy at all, which is a big problem with gluten-free pasta. Now, you can definitely, at this point, if you want to make a casserole type, you can definitely throw this mixture into a casserole dish, a Pyrex, and you can most definitely cover it with cheese and bake it off like that, and it'll get a nice crispy crust. And, you know, it's great for the holidays. People like to see that kind of thing. But yeah, you can see as we're heating it up, the cheese is starting to incorporate with the pasta. It's working pretty much more or less like regular pasta. Not having a single problem with it. And I think, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop up julienne, just a little bit more of the cheese, and I'm going to let it in there. I'm going to let it melt in with the noodles. I could leave it julienne, and that would allow for longer proteins to actually go into the mac, which might help to make it thicker. I could do that, but I think we're gonna stay this way. Get a little bit of cheese on the flat top. Now it smells like burnt cheese in here. That's all right. Everybody makes mistakes occasionally. You know, if I keep, and Young Warrior, if I keep getting the support of folks like you, who bring in all these people and these great, you know, great people with questions and people who want to watch, and we keep it a fun environment, I'm sure we're going to get affiliated pretty quick, man. This has like far exceeded my expectations for a first episode. We've gotten, you know, people coming out, people really wanting to being interested in what we're doing. And we didn't even set anything up. I don't even know where we're streaming this to. Are we in IRL? Where are we? We don't have a title. We got nothing. We're just out there in the nothing, man.
You know, guys, I just realized we didn't have a title.
You know, actually, I think DaBall can do that for us with his mod powers. I think DaBall could set us up. I think he can put us in IRL, maybe. But I know he can definitely change the title.
Yes,
the
we're
deep web
the deep,
of Twitch, yes.
the deep, deep web.
Well, how'd you find us, Sork? How did you come across us?
Sork mentioned earlier, actually, that he or she, I'm not sure, was here courtesy of Dark Horse and...
Oh, yeah.
someone else.
So, yeah, that's Dark Horse and Delglad and Fio. Those are all very old friends of mine. And if you know those guys, then you must be pretty cool yourself. Debut of the agency. Mac and cheese 4 ways, guys. Now, I don't know if you're still in on this one, Meej, but you can see that it has gotten creamy and thick, and it hasn't gotten gummy at all. I'm going to bring that right up to you right now so that you can see it. It hasn't gotten gummy at all. It hasn't gotten really grainy as far as I can see. And we're about ready to feed it to Thecus and see what she thinks. You know, I might add just a little bit more seasoning. Yeah, gonna need a little bit more seasoning. I'm gonna add just a tad bit more salt. A tad bit more onion salt. A little bit of cracked black pepper. We're going to mix that up. All right, one more. I'm so happy to be able to do this for you, Meej. I know that dietary restrictions can be a real bummer. And that's part of the thing I want to do on this stream. I want to make sure that people who have dietary restrictions can come here and ask questions. And, thank you, DaBall. Thank you. I definitely want to make sure that people with dietary restrictions can come and ask us questions. And they can commission us with dietary plans. All these things. Your operative can do many, many things for you. Anything dietary, anything nutritional. I got it, man. We'll help you out. You can commission us with these things. If you want to know a recipe, or if you're having trouble struggling with the recipe, I can show you how to make that recipe. Any of those things. Anyway, we're going to go head over here, and Thecus is going to go ahead and try the gluten-free macaroni and cheese. Here we are again.
Yeah. Here we are. Okay, guys, here comes the real truth. To be honest with you guys, I've never actually had any gluten-free bread, any gluten-free pasta, anything. This is my first time having anything that's actually gluten-free. Let's see. This one, the consistency is not as thick in it, but it's still not like soupy.
We used a lot of Swiss in this one, so it's gonna taste mostly of Swiss.
Yeah. That's really good, actually, you guys. The pasta does not taste any different from pasta.
So that was a Berea brand of pasta that we got for pretty cheap. I think it was like less than $3 a box, and there's plenty in there. There's like 2/3 left in that box.
This one actually might be my favorite.
Wow. Wow.
No, the consistency, the taste of the cheese is very light. Not that the smoked cheese isn't good. I'm personally not into a lot of super smoked things. So it was fantastic, but I like the taste of this lighter on the Swiss a little bit better.
Nice. She definitely liked it. That's good. That's really good. So there you have it, Meej and DaBall. And I hope that honestly answers your questions about, I know the gluten-free, right? That also answers your questions about mac and cheese. Mac and cheese can be fun. Mac and cheese can be a lot of things. We really only touched the surface. We just barely braised it. We didn't really go deep into what you can add into mac and cheese. There's bacon mac. They even make deep fried mac and cheese balls now. So much stuff you can do with mac and cheese. And it all started with Thomas Jefferson. No. I'm probably pretty sure that's a myth. Yeah, that all minute sauce is gonna work. But what I would, deep fried mac and cheese, baby. Yeah. So what I would really go about trying to do with that all minute sauce is I would add a little bit of a slurry because I do feel like it kind of broke afterwards. Like it feels a little grainy in the mouth, right?
It does taste a little grainy, but it's not. It's not like overly. Like you can taste it very, very, very slightly, but.
Mhm. It's a lot lighter, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I could eat that. I could eat a lot of that. But yeah, I would definitely add a little bit, not a whole lot, just a very little bit of slurry, cornstarch, cold water, to kind of bring that sauce all together, and it'll keep it from breaking apart like that. Right. My Nightbot isn't set up, so I don't know how long we've been playing, but it looks like we've been almost going for about 3 hours, which is pretty close to what I was actually originally shooting for. Man, this was a blast. I am looking forward to doing this a lot more often. Thanks, Bear Grylls, man. Thank you. We've been talking about this for a while, man, and it's finally happening. Meej, my pleasure. Definitely my pleasure to give you a recipe that you can try, something that you can enjoy. That's what your operative can do for you. Yeah, Sans, anytime, any questions you have, I can help you with that. I will definitely host Open before we finish. Yeah. Yeah, we don't have any Nightbots in here or anything. We got a little bit left to go. And you know what, DaBall, I'm not planning on going again until Tuesday, so we got some time to mess around with it. 2 hours, 36 minutes, hype. Yeah, we banged out 3 different kinds of macaroni and cheeses, including one that we put in the oven. And we did it in a short amount of time. And that's with talking and everything and having a good time and enjoying ourselves. So yeah, I think we did pretty good. I'm really hoping for that, man. I really am. And it all comes down to you, man. You are the originator. You were the guy who brought me to Twitch. You know, back when I was still doing commentary in the chat room on watching you play. And you know what? I'm not gonna stop doing that either. Young warrior, man, you got to be pretty tired. Thank you so much for staying up and watching the chat and watching everything. I mean, a lot of the time.
Disclaimer: Op9 does not condone.
Goes on Iron Chef. Cooks meth. Oh. Yeah. Man, what a blast. What a blast. Did you have a good time?
I had a great time, you guys.
How'd she do? How'd she do on the transitions, guys? Were the cameras smooth? Did you do a good job? Killed it.
Aw, thanks.
Killed it. Alright guys, hopefully we'll see you back here next time. I think we're going to end the stream here. First I got to figure out how to host my boy Hopan. Del Glad and Dark Horse. You got to meet these guys.
I haven't.
It's time for you to meet them, yeah. You haven't met them yet.
Actually, it's been fun because I know there's a few people in this chat that I know tonight, but I don't actually know your handles.
Princess Natasha! Princess Natasha came in. Man, you just missed it. We had a great mac and cheese odyssey. Yay, Natasha. Good to see you. We did. We cooked. We cooked a bunch. We cooked 3 different types of macaroni and cheese. We did a great time. Yeah, I definitely will, Dark Horse, man. We got to catch up. Me and Dark Horse and Del Glad, we used to play like Guitar Hero together and Rock Band. And we would just drink and play that game all night long. Just be loud and obnoxious. I miss it. Yeah, Natasha, definitely watch it. Definitely. Hopefully, yeah, Rock Band. Yeah, hopefully, I mean, I think honestly that mac and cheese that you put out was just as good as anything I did tonight. It came out really well. It looked really good on YouTube. It's pretty food. I like pretty food. And you did a good one, Natasha. You really did. Anybody who is just now meeting Natasha, she has a YouTube. I believe it's called Not a Chef or something or other, but maybe a Young Warrior can get that in there for you, and you guys can go follow her. She does all kinds of cool things on her YouTube channel. And are you planning on streaming at all? Princess Natasha, you should definitely stream.
It really was the best, you guys. That gluten-free one was my favorite.
I'm surprised. Yeah.
And for those of you guys that don't believe that I am one of Op's harshest critics when it comes to food.
She's the only person that I've ever met in my life that has spit my food out. She actually spit out my food. It was mapo tofu too. It was delicious. Yeah, everybody at Dark Horse, he likes to stream MMOs, and he is an OG MMO player, man. I think he's probably played just about every MMO you can ever think of. He's played it. Shit, I played it with him. Yeah, Young Warrior, everybody coming through. DaBall coming through with the YouTube there. Go ahead and check her out. She's just getting started on it, but there's some cool things on there. All right, DaBall. How do we host someone? Yeah, Bear Grylls, thanks for showing up, man. Thanks for hanging out the whole time. It's awesome.
How did this get small?
I don't know. Well, we're looking at chat, too. He's going to show us how to do it.
I saw it in
Stink the Land, thank you so much for coming in. Hopefully we'll see you next time. Immortal Ninja. The Legend, Young Warrior. Fine Art. Please follow Young Warrior Fine Art. Follow Hopan the Beast. They're coming up. They're newer streamers. They're coming up. I think Young Warrior's been at it for a little bit over a year. But the stuff that this guy puts out, the art is just ridiculous. I don't know how that comes out of his head. I really don't. Slash Raid. Let's try it. Slash Raid. Oh my goodness, some crazy shit just came up. You guys don't even know. There's like HTML all over. Okay, there we go. PUBG just goes down. As soon as we get out there to go get Hopan the Beast. You lost it. Who else we got up? We got Drew Linsky. IPC. I've been hitting up IPC a lot lately though. But I think he'll be cool with it. What do you think? You think we should do IPC? Yeah, Meej. Yeah, definitely. We made you a mod for a reason. You got great ideas. You have great ideas. DaBall's got great execution. We got all these amazing people in here. Amazing pieces. I am so fortunate to have everyone here helping me. And Thecus over here helping me with all the transitions, staying up past their bedtime. We were both super tired. We had to get the Red Bull to keep us up. But once we got going, it was fun. I'm not tired right now. We had fun. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, IPC. Let's do it. So literally, all I have to do is type /raid and I paint creatures, and it'll do it. Let's try it.
And that's how you host somebody?
That's how we raid. It's a new thing.
What's raiding?
Yeah, all right.
So many things I gotta learn from you guys.
All right, so everybody hop in there, man. Everybody hop in on the raid for IPC. He's been a great inspiration for me, and I know he couldn't make it in tonight, but man, I think it's gonna be cool for him to see Op9 now raiding.
Oh my gosh, that's the symbol for my pen.
That symbol. Oh yeah,
Pen I got at PAX.
Yeah. 8 raiders, guys. Good night. Immortal Ninja Night. It was so good to have you.
Good night, you guys. Thank you.
See you later, everybody. Thanks for coming in, and we'll see you next time. Next Tuesday. I'm gonna figure out something, and we're gonna cook together. It's gonna be great. Sans Burrell, thank you very much. Del Glad, buddy. We've got to get together sometime.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. Wow, look at what he's doing now.
That is amazing. That is dope. So we all straight up?